All right, so inside of the doors are clean. I cleaned them with acetone. We're gonna get our TMI door panels that we got from our friends at National Parts Depot, and I'm gonna use my old man knife to, do not use blades to open. Do not use blades to open. Okay, so I guess I won't cut it. Probably got a paper cut doing this. No paper cut. And one thing you will have a lot of when you are doing one of these cars is boxes to throw away. Because there's just a lot of paper products when shipping. All right, TMI, these door panels have been around a minute. They're really good stuff. I like the TMI product line. Their glow is pretty good on the red for these door panels. I don't have anything bad to say about them. TMI has been making these things almost as long as I've been doing this stuff, which I started in '96. So there you go. We don't need the driver one yet. We'll put that one on later off camera because basically, you know, everything is the same. And it's a really nice tight fit. What you want to see on these door panels is a good fit up against that edge there. No guarantee you're going to hold on to that with when you put the clips on a panel, but that's what it should look like right there, sitting in there. Now, for you guys that aren't Mustang aficionados or just getting into it, this interior should be all red, with the exception of the camera case finish on the dash panel pieces. So what you're seeing here is not correct. This black should be the same red as this so that it's all the same color. Personally, if I were going to go in a direction, this is just art classes with Jeff, I would go in and make the door panel red, or the actual door itself with the camera case or vinyl finish on it here. This would be red and the door panels would be black. And you could even say, to argue it up and say you make it red all the way to the edge of the chrome here and then black the center of this, and that would tie to the dash panel, which has the camera case black in there. Just a styling choice. These panels fit nice. I know they do. Just wanted to show you that. And yes, this is one thing we're going to be working on. We're going to be putting a hinge in this thing, and that's why this door keeps shutting like it is, and why I have to keep putting a stinking piece of wood in there. Okay, now what I've got here on the table, water shields that you can get from National Parts Depot. These work great. This is exactly what Ford used back in the day. And what I'm going to say about this is, while they work great and they are perfectly fine for this, you need to know a couple things about them. When you're doing this, the paper side needs to go toward the door panel, and this side, which has got the painted stuff on it, that black side needs to go toward the door. Okay, that is one way to skin this cat. The other way, and I'm going to put these back together and put them over to one side. The other way is to use big contractor bags. Contractor bags work pretty well for this. Ford went to plastic later on in Mustang production, like on up into, I believe, the late 70s, probably in the 80s, they went to a plastic backing on these. If I'm wrong, and it was sometime other than that, let me know in the comments below, because I'm not sure what the breakoff point was. I do believe it was probably the 80s and not the 70s, but I may be wrong about that. That's where you guys come in helping me out with that. Okay, now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to work this, because it's an easy thing to do. You leave your contractor bag the way it is, you lay it out on a flat surface, and what I'm going to do initially is just cut this bag in a rough shape. And I'm using the old door panel to achieve my goal here. You want to do 4? Now, this is a little bit big. So what I'm going to do is go back now and cut it down some. Probably come in about 1/8 to 1/2 an inch, depending. Using a little more precision than I used before. Doesn't have to be perfect. Anybody who's in there and inspecting these doors that way, probably don't want to be friends with them because they're tearing your car apart. At this point, the hard part's getting these two to separate. Now you have two water shields. And you can do this with any kind of car. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a Mustang. It can be a Cougar or whatever. If my Fiskars were in a little bit better shape, I could rip saw through this just like that without any problems. And these will work either side, so I'm going to take this one over there and do a test fit. I'm going to do that off camera. You'll see me installing them in just a second when I talk about different ways to install them. Different stuff to use, you know. All right, so there's a couple of different ways that you can put this plastic in. Matter of fact, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. You can do what I just did over on the tabletop, where you use your old door panel as a guide to cut the plastic out, or you can come over here with the full garbage bag effect and cut the plastic out on here, but you're having to do it on each door when you do it that way. Sometimes I think the second method is better because you can get much tighter out to the outside edges of the door in doing that. I've already got one piece of strip caulk in here. When I did it earlier, always run a little bit of acetone around the door because it will help with the adhesion of this stuff, which is one of the methods for putting the door panel in. Strip caulk is pretty much what Ford did back in the day. I'm sure somebody out there can let us know what the preferred method by Ford was, but the 08578 is a really good strip caulk from them. One of the things I will tell you is keep this stuff cool when you're trying to work it. Put it in the refrigerator for, I don't know, 30 minutes, 40 minutes before you go out and start using it, so that you don't have a problem picking it up off the paper, because I find sometimes this stuff is a real pain to unadhese from the paper that it sits on. I'm going to go ahead and throw in some more strip caulk and basically stop talking and start working. All right, so now I'm going to put my clips on. Now these are the clips we got from National Parts Depot. They're used 67 and 68. They did originally have silencer pads on them, these silencer pads here, but you have to pierce the center of this with the clip. It keeps the door panel a little quieter, but oh my gosh, it is zero fun. Open this bag up and get busy. Set the knife aside. I think I see what they're trying to get me to do here. I think. Well, I just broke one. That's pretty cool. All right, so if you're going to use the silencer pads, pretty sure if memory serves that this comes up through here and does that. Okay, and the holes can be kind of a pain in the butt to locate on the door. Some of them have divots and some of them do not. So there's the divot for this one. So this pad on the front part of the door, it inserts in that hole, and then you pull it as far over as you can get it in that area. And you could probably even put those things on after the fact. So when you're installing these, it's a very labor-intensive job. And I'm already down one. If you're doing the silencing pads, they go this way and pull into place. Now, something you can do to make it a little easier for the pulling is to grab a pair of mechanics pliers to pull them in play, because that can get real wearing on your hands after about 4 of these things. My experience with these clips too is that they can be very finicky on application, so just be advised that you may be having to do a reset. And these clips can also damage your paint. So it's one of the reasons why you'll see some people doing what they did, where they just screwed the thing to the door. Although I think that had as much to do with other stuff. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of these up off camera, get this done, and I'm going to try to apply it to the door. Good little tech tip is to go through on here and find the holes. If you do the pre-cuts, you know, you may not have to go through all this, but if you're doing what I'm doing, you will most certainly have to find your holes. Then got to find all of them. Just got to find some of them. You could possibly go in and mark these as well. I think I've got enough of them marked. Let's hope so. I did find one hole that's supposed to be in here, which is this top one here, and there's something obstructing it on the back side. Again, something to know whenever you're doing this. And it's a real balancing act, trying to get these all in the right spots. Got one right here. Feel the hole. There we go. That one is not right. And I don't know if that's my fault or what, but it's not sitting correctly. Matter of fact, it's not sitting correctly enough that I'm going to pull it out of there, because I don't like the way it's starting to want to lay, and it's going to just cause a problem in that upper corner. Hours of fun can be had doing just this kind of stuff. That one I think just went in. No, it did not. Yes, it did. A couple of these are, the clips are a little bit off on them. Something deeply satisfying about doing that. I'm not real happy with the lay-on so far. I'm gonna have to go find something to be able to check that hole position. I'm gonna go grab my cotter pin puller for this. All right, here's hoping that what I'm running into is not a problem of no hole. I have run into things like that on these cars before. Oh, it's right there. Boom, yeah. All right, there you go. Door panel is installed. Looks really nice. Very nice, very nice. But the problem we're running into, here's a problem. There's supposed to be 2 clips inside of here that they did not use on this car. I do not have the clips, so we're going to try to go back in the way they originally did it. These are the armrests from the guys at National Parts Depot. Pretty color combination, looks good on there. It matches up really well. Problem is I got to go in and find the holes. So I'm going to go grab something to punch through here and try to locate the holes so that I can run the screws up in there and maybe find them right. I got 1 screw, 2 screw. Might just try to go ahead and throw these through here. See what we get. Probably the most satisfying part of working on classic cars is this aspect for me right here, is just going through and making everything look nice. Now the question is that the hole or is that above the hole? See, that's the opening, I believe. And there's the hole they put in, down low. Not where I want it to be, but it is what it is. If I had the correct clips, I could have put that in there the right way. Nothing wrong with what they've done here. It's just not factory, and I'm a factory kind of guy. All right, wish me luck, folks. Okay, that's that one started. I would have ordered from National Parts Depot. The clip sets are available. I would have ordered those had I realized that what they had done here. Whoever they is. There you go. Armrests are in. All right, the owner wants to use a brushed set of handles and armrests, so I'll show you that. I'm going to go ahead and put those in and show that to you. What we've got here is the satin finish stuff that Scott Drake sells. National Parts Depot carries these. I prefer the chrome, but this is not my car, so we're going to put the satin in that the guy who owns the car wants. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all this stuff out of here. It has that wonderful blister pack stuff on it. I love this stuff so much. Blister packs are great. Because like if I'm going to cut my hand off, this is where I'll do it. And yes, I have almost split one of these before. Now, the screws that come with this, we're going to see if we can reuse or use these. The problem I run into with this stuff is if somebody's done what they've done here, which is to go in and by the way, the springs were missing off the back of these. There should be a spring that holds this door panel in play. It wasn't there, and I don't have one, so I'm not going to put it back in there. All right, so this is a 5/32 screw that's an Allen head. Now, remember last week I was a little upset when I found out that we had the regular Phillips head screws in there, and they were actually self-tappers. I don't know if this is going to go in here, so I'm going to set this aside for right now. And I'm going to go ahead and try to run the screw in there through my plastic cover, so to speak. Yeah, see, they've messed these up pretty bad. All right, we're going to have to tap these out. People.
A few minutes later.
All right, so I'm going to put the pull handle on now. I don't know, some people throw them up this way at kind of an upward angle. Some people put them down flat. I kind of like to have it up here because it's just a little easier to grab from the armrest. So if Kylie wants to go in and change that, he is free to do it. This is a 5/32 if you're trying to find something in your toolbox to do this with. And now, fasteners are correct. Off camera, I'm going to run a tap down through this one too. It's a National Course 24, which corresponds to the screw that goes in there. And I'll put this one on off camera as well. Into the fog.
A few minutes later.
All right, whenever you're putting the window cranks on the car, I like to have the window cranks straight to the line with the body pleats in here if there's any kind of pleating in the interior. Window should be all the way up for this position. That's what you want to have with it. And then you install it. This one, the windows are kind of dropping a little bit whenever they're all the way up. That is a problem for another day. Because when they relax out, they should sit horizontal this way. At least that's the way I always do it. You might want to consult some vintage photography from back in the day, probably owner's manuals and that kind of stuff, or sales brochures from the time period for your car, 67, 68 Mustang. I'm pretty sure that's how this goes. This may actually lay flat, but I find it's a lot easier to get in and grab whenever I have them laying up like this at an angle. That's personal. There you go. That's all done. Man, I tell you what, there is nothing better than a fresh interior on a car. A car like this, a Mustang, they look awesome when the interiors are clean on them. And the windows now roll up and down really well because I went in and greased them. You can check that video out, looking through our stuff. But man alive, it's just a nice clean look on this car. And it's done. I mean, this door panel's done. Speaking of done, that's us for this week. Do me a favor, be kind to each other, love each other, treat each other nice. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you next time on Autorestomod. Cam had things to do. Wasn't able to be here today. I didn't mention that at the front of the show, but for you guys to stick around to the bitter end of everything, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. See ya.
Pretty. So pretty.
Well, on to the next thing.